Welcome to today's episode where I talk with Triin Reilson from Estonia. And she has a different business this time, not so much an online business. She is a chef and caterer who specializes in special dietary requirements. That means like vegan food, gluten-free food, whatever you need with special dietary requirements. And I'm so glad to have you here and talk a little bit about business, sensitivity, like intuitive business, and all of that stuff today. Hello and welcome to the Successful, Sensitive and Intuitive Entrepreneur podcast. My name is Lydia Sophia Wilmsen and I am an intuitive success mentor for sensitive entrepreneurs. In this podcast, I speak about the challenges sensitive and intuitive entrepreneurs face. I offer you new perspectives and solutions, as well as experiences of other entrepreneurs. Plus, I speak about my personal experience of being a highly sensitive person who has successfully built and scaled 2 businesses. All of that with the goal to make you and your business even more successful in your very unique and authentic way. Have fun and enjoy. Welcome, Triin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I love that on the podcast there are different people like with very different businesses. And as we always start with that question, can you tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, and how your life has been so far, basically, in a short time?
I've been a caterer now for more or less more than 10 years, but past 3 of them I've been doing that with my company. Before that, I went to university. I studied multimedia, which was totally different. And before that, I went to cooking school, where I decided that I don't want to be a chef. So, and I still ended up being one because it was just not the right people and not the right places where I first tried cooking professionally. So I ended up where I am now. And, personally, I live with my partner and our lovely cat. I love nature. My main kind of values lie in being in sync with nature, cooking and living sustainably. I'm not full on zero waste, but I'm doing the best I can. And I really try to kind of use these values in my business as well. And I since I'm a small business owner, I always try to support other small business owners, basically, and farmers and local growers and all stuff, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Super interesting. So, of course, I would love to know, does it come from family values? How did you end up having such a focus on sustainability and ecological farming? And I know that you take really good care, you also grow own vegetables and own stuff. Did this just come later in life, or was there a kind of awakening moment of we have to take care of our planet or something?
When I was a child, I stayed at my grandmother's in the summers, and she lived in the country, and she had a little farm and a vegetable garden and everything. So it always it was natural for me that most vegetables come from your own garden, or at least from a kind of local grower. And I think it had a lot to do, later in life, it had a lot to do with the people I'm surrounded with. Just most of them are kind of aware of what's happening and a little bit of the climate change and also a big push towards the sustainability. Where places I worked, there was a local cafe, organic cafe. And there, just since the general mind state was really organic, local, all that stuff. So obviously it kind of grew on me. And then I went to England, where I worked in a vegetarian hotel. And obviously there also they had the same kind of value system. So it's just they all kind of
different
demonstrated me how it's kind of nice to do that. And also this year has really showed how important it is to especially support your local businesses. So your own economy wouldn't die out.
Have you seen an influx in people also doing their own gardening stuff, or also more interest like locally in Estonia that people ordered your packages, your food? I know that you do, for example, like Christmas packages or for special holidays or something. Like, was there a shift this year then that people were really got interested in that more?
Well, yeah, in the spring when there was the like lockdown. Then yes, then it was also like almost the only way for me to keep cooking and find a way to distribute it. So then people were happy to buy my food because they got sick and tired of their own cooking quite fast. At least this is what I heard. So they turned to other options.
Like you as a caterer. I heard good things. Also here, I'm in the Netherlands right now, and there are many restaurants. Yeah, all restaurants are closed and only have takeaway. And there is a small wine shop where we often go, and they also now have Christmas deliveries. Like they don't cook anymore because they don't have regular takeout. They just had like a really nice restaurant together with a wine area. Yeah, and their way of making some money back, because they have lost them a lot of money, of course, and in order to not go under is, for example, to have like for the first time ever those Christmas packages, and you can order like five courses or something, and also in vegetarian form, which is super nice.
Yeah.
They do sell quite a lot of that because I think, as you said, people get bored of their own cooking. Not everyone can cook. Some cook like okay. So I think it's a beautiful way of making some of the money back. Also, I think that you didn't bring in because, tell us perhaps a little bit more about the catering for bigger events that you do. Like what kind of events are they, and what did you draw to? Why were you drawn to those events where you cater usually?
When I cook for bigger events, they are usually retreats or like camp kind of things that last several days. And well, it started when I was also abroad in Sweden and finishing my work there, and I got an offer to cater for a big group. Yeah, and then it seemed like, okay, this is the perfect thing. They want vegan food. There's like 40 to 45 people. It's like a holistic spiritual retreat, which means nice people. And then after I did it already while doing it, I sensed that, okay, this really works for me. And they really appreciate the food I made because as it came out, to my surprise, it's not so often that you can get really good quality vegan or gluten-free food.
Okay, so you weren't aware of your unique selling point, basically, of your
yes,
of the positive sides. Yeah. I think I remember talking to you about that, where I said like, wow, it's so amazing what you do. And for you, it was like, what? Really? I just cook, basically.
Yep, you made me realize it's much more special than I think it is.
And I think we also talked, for example, about this, like when you lead events, and then I think it's super interesting for people who have no idea about that. But, if it's super nice to go to yoga retreats or to go whatever kind of retreats, I go there and we just take food for granted. It's like, oh, of course, there is yummy food, and that it has such a huge, like, it's so important without being the focus. So it's like basically on the back side, you just expect amazing food, and it really helps for the whole experience. Like if you go to a yoga retreat, you want to chill, you want to relax. Of course, you don't eat McDonald's food, but you just expect that there is nice food, and you don't even think about the importance, like that you need someone to really take care of it. So can you share a little bit more how do you make your recipes, and how do you prepare for such an event?
Well, by now it's the recipes are mostly just like trying to remember what we have done previously. But also I often just find some inspiration from internet, which is, super simple. And then, usually when I have a longer event, for instance, like 10 days or something, I just write down menu ideas and then I just order a bunch of stuff. But I don't have like menu written down for every day separately or anything. I just kind of go with the flow. Well, for shorter events, of course, it's just I need to kind of plan super accurately. And it really depends. It's so different because all the clients are really different. Some of them want like the full menu and then they want to discuss it in detail. And then I have the clients, like existing clients with whom I've worked with, and they are like, well, we trust you, do whatever. And we know it's going to be nice. Yeah. So like planning for a big catering event is just a lot of list making, basically, to make sure I won't forget any like essential ingredients. Since I move around a lot in different locations, then it also I need to be in contact with a local person who can tell me all about like the supplies they have in the kitchen, all that kind of stuff. And then I have to remember all the stuff I need, because at home, like I take so much stuff for granted.
Yeah, of course.
So basically, it's a couple of full days of just thinking through everything. Yeah.
Okay. And then when you get there, is it like when you say in longer days, it's following flow? Like, how does flow work as a cook? Is it then more that you wake up in the morning and think like, that would be super yummy? Or do you see, there are a lot of like those kinds of people? I think we need a lot of grounding foods. It just pops into your mind, or like, how does this look like? It's hard to explain, I guess, but let's give it a go.
Actually, I've had I can explain it a bit at some events. When I roughly know the program, I know when they might need more grounding, when they need opening foods, when they need a little bit of comfort, maybe. Because when it's like an intense spiritual kind of work, it can be really important that you kind of, when you come to lunch or dinner, that you get something like, oh yes, this is exactly what I needed, or this is what my mom used to make. For instance, I've discovered that roasted vegetables are just a hit with children, with grown-ups. It's just like roast the potatoes in the oven and everybody are so happy.
That's so funny.
And for me, it feels like I'm not even doing anything. It's like no effort foods.
Like, am I really cooking? Oh, yeah, I get that. Super interesting. So would you say by now, like after having done this for 3 years, you just have like a lot of experience, or are you still sometimes kind of anxious when you go to one of those events of like, ooh, is everything going to work out?
I'm anxious mostly when I go to new places and work with new clients, because I don't know the people, and especially when it's just like a couple of days. So I need to order all the produce up front, and I have no idea how much they're going to eat, and if there's going to be a problem like on the second day maybe, or something like that. So this is the only bit that makes me anxious, I'd say. But because before I started my own company, I worked in the like professional kitchens, so there you like experience the kind of pressure that makes you a little bit, kind of like stress proofs you in a way, I'd say. Okay. Yeah. So I most of the time I have this kind of inner knowing that it's gonna be fine. Like when the delivery will be there at the right time, it's all gonna be fine.
Oh, I love that. Because usually, obviously, like I work with my clients very much on inner, like trusting into inner knowing and that. So it's lovely to hear that you already bring that to the table, basically. And also that you said, because being like a highly sensitive person, especially working in a kitchen, can be like highly stressful. So I think it's super interesting that you just said that it made you like stress proof. Like, can you share a little bit more perhaps about your work, either like your previous work, where it was really like highly stressful, and obviously your work now, like how you have created your business to basically also deal with being like a very empathetic and like highly sensitive person? That would be super interesting.
Well, before when I worked in professional kitchens, I liked it in a way because, but the stress proof thing is mostly that, when something is not working or, out of your control, you can't keep stressing about it. There's a point where it just really, well, it is what it is. And there's no point of screaming or something like that. Because a lot of chefs do that. And this was the one thing that threw me off, really. I didn't want to work with that at all. That just this constant kind of accusing. This was actually mainly in one place I worked at. But yeah, the thing there is that you can't really, you can't let yourself, how do I say, no, basically it's a really masculine environment in my experience. You have to kind of work through everything whenever there's high pressure, like a lunch hour rush or something. You just have to work through it. You maybe burn your finger. You just have to work through it. And it's kind of like one part of me liked it. There's like, yes, I can do whatever. I just keep on pushing myself and moving. And it just, it was like an ego boost that I can get through whatever. But yeah, when I worked in like calmer places, like the organic cafe, where like it's owned by a really nice family, and the whole place has like a family vibe. Yeah. The people who work there, you really have to kind of fit in. And you have to like the system and the people, and then you can be kind of happy in that little family they have there. And there I understood that, well, okay, this is not a normal thing to do at all, that you just like kind of push through everything. It's really nice when you can ask for support.
Love that.
Yeah, and this is what I learned to do now. I can just, when I feel myself going into this like hyper mode, when I start moving really fast and I start making mistakes, I just like take a little moment and breathe deeply, because it just grounds me really fast. For everyone, I think.
Yeah. Breathing is powerful.
Yeah. And also, like the clients I work with, I find it's really nice now that most of my clients are really understanding, and also like they're not like, well, we had a deal 2:00. I don't care how the food gets there, but it needs to be there. They're all really like not, I wouldn't say that flexible, but understanding. When there's a problem, or they don't even don't have the time set in stone, and they're all like kind of flowing as well. So yeah, I think it's just it's soulmate client thing. I think like this summer I felt that I really hit jackpot with every project I did. So it felt really nice, and I felt like understood and supported by my clients, which is like the best thing ever.
Yeah. What would you say, what changed? Like, is it something in your mindset? Was it something in your attitude or in your belief system that, going from this more like pushing environment and now having like such understanding? Like, it's super interesting, obviously, for the audience as well, because that's always the question: how do I get my aligned clients? And this sounds like, you have hit the jackpot. So share with us what worked for you.
Well, first of all, when I really started to take care of myself, then it came kind of naturally, the knowing that, well, this is not okay, the kind of pace and doing like ridiculous hours. And then when my body is hurting, then obviously it can't be right. And also, I'm really happy that I got like the different experiences that made me realize that not all kitchens are the same, and it doesn't have to be like extreme pressure kind of a thing. So I say again, like experiences and taking care of myself and working with myself were the main things.
Okay, I love that. So, taking care of yourself. And I think that's already probably a major shift, right, for people, because like awareness comes first. You first have to understand, actually, my body is aching. Like I'm working ridiculous hours and I'm just sad and tired. And for what? Like awareness first. And then you can obviously start to change. And the other thing to also have like both examples. Like very often, what I experience is that we always only want the nice things, but sometimes we need to have difficult experiences to actually know what we want instead. Because without that, we wouldn't have a clue,
Exactly.
So I think like contrast is very helpful very often. And like, have you ever written something down, what kind of clients you want? Or is it now just through, taking care of yourself? Like, do you also say no to people, to clients? Does it ever happen, or don't they show up at all anymore? People who are like not aligned with you.
I have to. I have said no, but this is mainly even to like nice clients. I've said no to, but that has been because I needed to take time for myself, because this is also a lesson I needed to learn, that I create my own vacation. So, this has been the main reason. But I don't think there have been like clients with whom I don't want to work with for a long time now.
Oh, wow. That's very inspiring. I think there are many people who want exactly that. So super interesting. And how do you, and perhaps a little bit back again to the question about like being highly sensitive, being a very sensitive person, how do you now, like, I think it's a twofold question. One is, how do you give yourself permission to choose exactly what you need and what you want? And how do you make clear, or how do you make it happen that the environment, which is still stressful, like being a chef is still a stressful thing, or being a caterer, it's like, how do you make sure to not overstep your boundaries? Perhaps some tips and tricks you have.
Well, it's kind of like a self-discipline practice, but self-discipline basically being self-love. You really need to understand yourself and your needs, and then and be aware of them as well. Because what I usually do, as I said, I do the breathing thing when I feel like I'm getting anxious, and like just I get into this like overdrive state of mind. what I do in the longer retreats, which are really exhausting. Every morning I take myself some time. I do even just like short yoga. In the evenings, I do some yoga and stretch because it is hard for my body even then. But yeah, it's so important for me to take this little time, even if I maybe get a little less sleep then, but it's totally worth it. What I also do before I enter into a stressful or just harder, like a period, a work period, or even just a day, I kind of tell my body or let my body know that so now it's going to be a bit more pressure, and I hope we'll get through this, and after that we will have some relaxing time and it will be nice.
And you really do this. That's super nice.
Yeah. I found it really helpful. Yeah. Did I answer your question fully, or was there a...
Yeah, I think it's like just every tips and tricks you have around that, because especially, like other people, they're stuck behind the screen. So it might be that it's like a little bit of a different approach, how to take care of yourself. And I think like what you have to share is more physical approaches, like with yoga, stretching, breathing, talking to your body. Like it's very much on a physical level. So I think for everyone working like long hours or doing also like physical stuff, that's super helpful. And is there ever like, what do you do when it comes to breathing? Is it just like, do you have a specific breathing exercise, or is it just that you really focus on your breathing?
I just really focus, just deep breaths.
Okay.
Usually inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, and just kind of let it really go. And when it's needed, I just like exhale with a sound, and which is like an extra relaxing thing.
Like a inhale, something like that.
Okay, good. Exactly.
No, it's calming. It's nice.
Yeah.
And okay, we have already talked a little bit about stressful situations. Perhaps like you have been in business for 3 years now, like in your own business. Can you share some challenges you have overcome and how you've done that? Because that's interesting for everyone here, as we are business owners dealing with challenges.
But I'd say my main challenges or lessons were not to overbook, because this is what I did, in the beginning. That I just looked at my calendar. I didn't plan days off. I just looked at, okay, these dates are free, and whenever a client asked about these dates, it's like, yeah, of course, they're free. And actually, I was just like so tired when I went to them, like from one catering to the next one, and I'm pretty sure that the quality wasn't like as good as it could have been, due to my like just being super tired. So yeah, this was a massive lesson to just kind of book in my own vacation time. Well, asking for the right amount of money or like a normal amount of money for my cooking is still a thing. I'm still like kind of raising my prices bit by bit. But I've started to kind of, I have much better understanding now how much other people are charging and how much this work is actually worth. And also that I shouldn't be afraid of losing a client because of asking too much, because when they really want me, they just bargain, and I can always like give them a little bit of a better deal. And then I've lost the fear of losing a client over my kind of asking price. Yeah. know what else. Yeah, well, kind of being in touch with my intuition is also a big one when it comes to clients. And if I feel like he or she is the right fit for me or no. Because with some people, it's just like, I feel like I don't want to. And I feel like they don't respect my work. Because a lot of the times it's just because the person doesn't really understand how much time and effort cooking involves.
Yeah.
And they're used to just kind of having the food, like you said, that at retreats, you just kind of, it's given that you have good food on the table. And some organizers don't really see the effort part. So they just kind of try to bargain the price down super low. And then this just makes me anxious. And after I'm just not happy with what I did or how much effort I put in and how little I got back.
Mm-hmm. So following your intuition. Okay. Yeah, asking for the right price and raising your prices and following your intuition. And I love this part about booking times in for yourself in order to not overbook, because there are so many people out there, like also like clients I work with, especially when they go to the next level. It's like also like almost this fear of like, oh, if I don't take this client which is coming around, oh my goodness, then I'm losing business and I'm going out of business. And it's like fear-based very often. It's like, not taking care of yourself, like having like totally lost connection with yourself, and obviously like fear-based, like, oh, if I don't take this client, there won't be enough. Instead of saying like abundance, there's always more than enough. And I have to take care of myself first. So I think, it's a super, super good example of how overbooking and getting like your own needs not met, like creating problems for yourself, but also, as you said, for the clients, because your food is just not as good if you were totally tired and burned out, of course. So I love that part. And I think we can also, like people with online businesses, it's the same stuff. If you're not like, if you're depleted, you won't deliver A+ results, or not results, A+ support for your clients. So love that.
Yeah, with the online work, what I also feel is super important that I learned to not answer everybody as soon as they write me. Sometimes a person writes to me like 10 o'clock in the evening and I feel like, oh, I should answer them. I was like, no, you don't have to. And you don't have to feel bad that you're tired and can't answer them like 100% or think it all through right now. You can just like leave it, get back to it in the morning, or when it's the weekend, you can do it on Monday. This is super important for me, and I'm still sometimes struggling with it.
Still I'm not struggling with it, but it still happens sometimes that I get a message and just look at my phone and I see, a client has said something. Then there is one part of me which is very curious, like, what is he saying? What is she saying? And the other thing, like, oh, perhaps it's a question, perhaps that, and then I have to really say, no, now it's time for me and not for business in the middle of the night. I'm going to be back tomorrow or after the weekend. So I love that. I think it never ends. Like boundaries always have to be like consciously put in place.
Exactly. Especially the more like soulmate clients you have. The better relationship you have with them, you feel more and more that, but they're like a friend, I should get back to them really fast and they should be like my priority in a sense.
I love that. Super important, Triin. I would love to know, like, what has been the most amazing, perhaps it's difficult to say, the most amazing and beautiful thing that has happened to you in business or in your catering story, like an appreciative client or something, just what has brought your heart to sing, basically?
There have been several moments like this, I have to say, but it's whenever someone tells me or like how much they appreciate my food, but you can see that it comes from the heart. It's not just like, thank you, it was nice. It's just like they really put their hearts and thoughts into into the compliment basically, and also this one of this big training, like the armoring practitioner training we've been catering with my partner. In the end, they always ask us into the main hall where they have their sessions, and there's almost 40 people, and they are just like applaud us and just like make a big like this love sharing thing, and like a wave, and it's always like brings me to tears, both of us really. And this is like the most heartwarming, I'd say, because just it's such a massive amount of good energy.
Yeah. I love that you say that, because I obviously have been to like many retreats, and then we always, like the cooks were welcomed into the room, and then to say like thank you, and we clapped for a long time. And then sometimes you don't know, because they are like sometimes very introverted people, very quiet, like sensitive, like you a little bit, and then it's like, do they actually want that? Or is it like they just want to leave the room or something? So that you say that, now I'm going to clap even louder. And for everyone who's listening, they love it. I think everyone loves appreciation and gratitude. And even though they might look a little bit like, ooh, they seem to love it.
I think it's hard for most people to take a compliment, like really fully take it. It's like a natural thing for so many people. I struggled with it as well, but
now you love it.
Yes. Well, it's just basically like opening your heart to the good vibration or good energy people are giving you, instead of like, it's nothing special, and then you put yourself down and them down. Instead, just it's easier and better for everybody when you just receive it.
I love that. Perhaps anything else you have to share as a business owner, as a sensitive person or introverted, intuitive person, that you would like to share with the audience? Some tips and tricks.
Well, the main things are the most simple, I'd say. That listen to yourself, listen to your body. Really kind of try to feel if the client is right for you, and when it doesn't feel like they're appreciating you, don't work with them. And just don't put yourself down, and know that this is like what you're doing is already really good. With most people, when they're working like from their heart, it's already really, really great. You can always do better, but it is already good.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think, the main things is just like the basics, but they are the hardest to achieve. Taking care of yourself and all that, and loving yourself and appreciating yourself. Just we all know that, but we're not always really good in practicing it.
Yeah, I think it's a very important reminder. And when you think about like next year, just business-wise, would be super interesting. Obviously, also like, will you have some online offers? Are you planning something like that? Also, like what I can put into the show notes, where people can connect with you. Like, are you planning anything online, or what's going on in your world?
I'm planning to do a small cookbook, and it's going to be like a physical one, but also since I'm already doing it, I might as well do it like online.
What kind of food in there, just to get an idea?
Kind of like my main or bestsellers, if I could say that, the things that have been most popular at.
Can you share some?
Like beetroot roasted peanut pesto, for instance, has been a hit. There's sweet potato spread, also cauliflower in a vegan cheese sauce, which isn't even like a vegan cheese product. I make it from carrots and potatoes, which feels unbelievable for most people, to myself in the beginning as well. Basically I might kind of hit dishes from experience.
Okay, super cool. So this will be then available that people can buy it on your website or something. Okay, cool. So make it happen. This is now a formal invitation because I want that. Okay, super good. And other than that, like people will be able to find also some stuff you send if they want to, like do some dishes or some spreads. Is this also in the making or not so much?
Do you mean like a
delivery kind of thing that people can order your pesto?
Yeah, but it's at the moment it's only available in Estonia because I don't really know how to.
Due to the situation, obviously,
But there are things like preserves and also dried foods. Like we tested with my partner. We tested with like camping food, which is dehydrated vegan dishes, basically, which was really nice. And since it's dehydrated, this is something that is available, but we don't have like a product per se at the moment. It's more like when you're interested, you can write and we can discuss it.
Okay, sounds super good. And I think with you we have to ask, and then the product is being created.
Exactly.
Oh, very nice. So I'm just going to put your Instagram account, Facebook, and your website into the show notes. And if you're interested in a lovely cookbook, then perhaps you could create a waiting list or something, and people can already order it once it's ready.
Yeah. I will think about all that in the coming year.
Super nice. Yeah, okay, I think for now, thank you so much for your insights into a very different field than what we usually talk about. And also the getting back to the basics and the really beautiful reminders in there. So thank you so much for your time and for your energy and for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me. It was really interesting and nice. Yeah.
Did you like this podcast episode? Then I would be super, super grateful if you gave me a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Super helpful. And please subscribe to the podcast and share it with people who you know can benefit from it. You can find all links to my social media profiles, my website, and contact form in the show notes. And whenever you're ready to take a next step, and that means you want to live a life of more on all levels, then send me a message with where you want to go and what is keeping you where you are, like what keeps you stuck at the moment. And then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for listening, and until the next episode, much love to you, Lydia.